And why do you say that doing UPSC or any of these courses is a waste of time?
Well, look at the statistics of it. 99.9% of people who attempt UPSC will not get through. Now, tell me how many things are there with a 99.9% failure rate that you would recommend somebody to do, unless it has a very large payoff, right? That's why I say, people, why don't you try to be Elon Musk or something? I'm just using Elon Musk as a random example. But main point is, if you're going to take such a large risk, why to become a bureaucrat? Now, this is not to suggest that talent shouldn't be there in bureaucracy. Sure. I mean, if this is what you want to do, and the only thing you wanted to do in life was to become a civil servant, then sure, do it. And that there too, I would say, give it a few attempts. But there are people who have now become professional UPSC aspirants, and they spend years and years doing it. I think it's a complete waste of human resource. Many of these people, after many years, they come back, and this will happen to the bulk, right? 99.9% will not get through. Now, these people will spend many years trying to do this, spending their best years when they could have taken off their career. They'll come back in. The people who were with them, their classmates, meanwhile have worked for 5 years, moved up the value chain. They will probably be their boss's boss. Now, I think this is such a waste. In an environment where firms are looking for these people, they can succeed in an expanding economy with all kinds of things going on. Instead, it's not the dumb guy in the class who attempts UPSC. It's actually supposedly the talented guy in the class, because this is the only guy the family will borrow, beg, and send them to live in Mukherjee Nagar in Delhi. It's not the stupid guys in the class who are trying this. They're the bright guys in the class. So we are taking the best people in our talented people in our system, and instead of putting them to some productive use, we are putting them in a use where there is 99.9% failure rate. Now you tell me, why is this not a complete waste of human talent? And this has, unfortunately, this rather ridiculous system is perpetuated by this coaching class mafia, which basically then sells opium to all these people. Now, imagine the product they're selling. It's a product that is going to fail you 99.9% of the time. And by the way, it's more than that, because even the 0.1% that gets through, not all of them are going to do exciting things in life. Okay. The odd person will go on to become cabinet secretary to the government of India or something like that. Finance secretary, defense secretary, whatever you think is the cool thing. The bulk of them are not going to get there. Bulk of them will do mostly mundane things. Right? If that is what even the successful guys are going to be mostly doing mundane things, then my view is, why not take risks in many other places where your proportion of success is higher? You can be a sports person, you can be a writer, you can be a poet, you can be a singer, you can be an entrepreneur. In fact, the success rates of entrepreneurs are much, much higher than 0.1%. Right? So I'm just pointing out to you, if you must aspire to something with low probability and high payoff, then why not do it for something which will give you a real serious payoff?
But sir, if that is the case, would you also argue that people should not even do, let's say, something like an MBA from an IIM Ahmedabad? Because if that is the case, there are 3 lakh CAT aspirants who write CAT. Only 400 of them get into IIM Ahmedabad.
But first of all, many of them get through to something else. So there is more than one IIM, and that list is used by other institutions. Secondly, I don't think there is a large number of people who take CAT every year for 5, 6, 7 years. 1, 2 years they'll do it. Most of them are anyway trying to crack it while they are an undergrad. So it's a parallel thing they're doing. They may also try 3 other things. So that's fine.
All right.
I'm not saying you shouldn't attempt something difficult, including the UPSC. My problem is that this whole culture, I routinely meet some guy who I think is pretty bright, and I ask them, what are you doing? I'm an aspirant. Aspirant for what? UPSC. So my view is that, that kind of being an aspirant is not aspirant at all. Hence the term, poverty or aspiration.
Yeah. But let's not talk about the MBA one, but I'll talk about the chartered accountancy example.
Yeah.
So even in chartered accountancy, the passing percentage rate in CA final is in the range of 3 to 5%. Okay,
ठीक है.
and all levels cumulatively, like foundation is around 15-20%, inter is around 10%, final is around 5%. So if you see from the starting to end, this would be in the range of like 1% or 0.5 to 1% is
Okay.
the success rate. And a lot of people are fallen into the trap that they fail their exams and then they are giving their CA finals again and again for the next 2 years, 3 years. So would your argument be same here?
2-3 years is perfectly fine. That's even true for UPSC. If that's what you want to do in life, first of all, be clear you want to do that. The thing in the case of chartered accountancy, the vast majority actually have an interest in the subject of accountancy or related subjects. My experience is that UPSC giving is actually a culture now. Most of those people don't actually want to be civil servants. If they actually showed them the life of a civil servant, they would not want to be there. In fact, one of the weird things is many of the people who get through the UPSC attempt to give this exam the following year again to get into some other service that they think is higher up the pecking order. So that tells me one thing, that even the successful people are not happy. Yeah, so they are now on the opium. So if they'll get through to revenue service, but he actually wants to be an IAS, so he'll take the exam again. If you allowed him after getting into IAS to do something else, he would have done that too, because he doesn't actually want to be in any of it. He is basically trying to climb the ladder and he's addicted to this exam taking.
Yeah, fair. I think I now get the point where you're to say, like, this is something where, okay, you can do it for a few years, 2-3 years is fine. But then if you're not able to do it, then why waste time?
And do it, even first of all, even attempting it should be done if you want to do this.
Yeah.
It's not because, generally, unthinkingly, you are like a lemming following the herd. Do it while you're maybe doing a master's. You also attempt this. Maybe you take an extra year off and do it again. It didn't work out. Carry on in life. And that too only if you actually want to do this.
Fair.
Yeah, there aren't too many people who just turn up, relatively speaking, a chartered accountant and doesn't want to be a chartered accountant and hates accounts actually.
Yeah, I think CAs would be basically having a mindset that, okay, they want to get into taxation or auditing or accounting, and that's why they're doing CA.
Field related. And many of those who don't make through chartered accountancy end up in those kinds of fields. Maybe not exactly what they wanted, but they will end up at maybe a GCC of some multinational doing their back-end accounts. Maybe not a chartered accountant, but they're still doing some finance type of thing. Maybe an analyst somewhere, whatever.
Yeah, actually, the GCC thing that you mentioned, I think a lot of CAs who are not able to clear their exams are getting into the back office roles. And
so then they have a career which is related to what they trained for. And many of them are successful, may even be more successful than the chartered accountant fellow will make it to becoming the CEO of some GCC and have a good life. That's fine. Right? Yeah. Whereas, supposing I studied sociology for 6 years, took this exam, didn't get through, now I'm 30 years old. What do I do now? Will a firm hire me because I was 6 years being an aspirant? No skill has been acquired in the process. Even the attempt to take the CA exam means you have acquired a skill, no? Even if you failed clearing the exam, you acquired a skill.
Right.
What skill was acquired in studying some general knowledge questions?
If you learned something new from this video, do share it with your friends and subscribe to this channel so that we can bring you the best content possible. Also, if you want to watch this entire episode, click on the link in the description box and you can go to Kushal Lodha YouTube channel and watch the entire podcast episode. Thank you so much for watching this and have an amazing day.